Hello and welcome to SiComponents YouTube channel. Today we will go through a brief overview of the essentials of the programming language in Delphi. If you've never heard of Delphi, check out our previous video where we covered not just Delphi but also other popular IDEs. Regardless, let's quickly learn or revise what Delphi is and learn about the programming language that it uses, which is Object Pascal. Object Pascal is the extension of the usual Pascal with, as you can guess, features of object-oriented programming which simplifies the development process. To learn more info about Object Pascal, make sure to visit our blog page where we had blog posts covering it in more detail. Now let's head over to Delphi IDE itself. We will not waste time covering the user interface of the IDE, as Embecadero themselves did a pretty good job providing plenty of material covering it. Instead, we'll make this video more efficient and jump straight to showing you the essentials of coding, assuming you already created a new project, unit, and a form. Let's start off with the most important, the structure of the code. As you can see, the code is segmented into specific sections where you're allowed to perform only certain actions, unlike other languages like Python, for example, where you can have as chaotic of a structure as you want. At the top, you can see the unit part, which simply states the name of this particular unit of the entire project. You'll need to use that name if you want to call this unit from another one. After the unit, we see the interface section. In this part, we can declare whatever we want to be accessible from other units. It can be anything, ranging from components up to functions. The interface section is followed by the uses. In this section, we declare the methods, libraries, units, and such systems that we will use in this code. There are plenty of elements declared by default, but for example, if you would want to use JSON in your code, you would need to add system.json. Going back to our previous point, this is also the part to write the name of another unit if you want to refer to it in your code. After that comes the type part. In this section, we can define classes for our code and declare the respective elements of the class, private, and public declarations, which may include variables, components, procedures, or functions. Now we arrive at the var section. As you can guess, var stands for variable. Therefore here, we need to declare all the variables and their respective types that we'll use in our code. Last but not least comes the implementation part, and this is the part where all of our main code will go in. We can also declare variables and uses within implementation, however, it will only be local and other units will not have access to them. Therefore, we can treat our code as a sort of report, and everything above the implementation part is an executive summary that can be interpreted from other units. Now let's take a look at how to declare variables. Let's say we want to declare an integer type variable. First, we need to go to the variable section, and for example, we call this variable num1. Then we have to place a semicolon and define the type of this variable. There are plenty of options, especially if you also consider different modules that you have within Delphi, but just number-based are either integer, real, or float. Note that if you declare it to be an integer and then try to assign a decimal value to it, it will not work, because for a decimal value we need either a float or a real. So let's say we want num1 to be an integer type. Now we can go down to the implementation part and assign a value to it. Before we begin coding, we need to place a begin. Begin end pairs are similar to the curly brackets in other languages. Then we once again write the name of the variable, num1, semicolon followed by an equal sign, and this is the way to assign values to the variables, and then the value we want to assign, so let's say a 2. Now let's check if the value was assigned. We can call a procedure called showMessage and give our num1 as an input argument. Note that we need to convert it to a string with the help of a function int to string, as the showMessage procedure accepts only input of a string format. If we are to run the program, we can see that the program shows us the value of num1 correctly. Alternatively, to create a string variable, we have to go back to our variable section and change the type of this particular variable. To demonstrate what matches and what doesn't, we will keep the name of the variable the same. Now we have to change the value that we assign to the variable, as it is now of type string, so therefore number 2 will not work. Let's assign a value of hello. Note that we have to use apostrophes when giving a string value. Now we no longer need to convert an integer to a string in our showMessage input, as the variable itself is already a string. Therefore, we can simply give the variable as the input. Let's run the program and see that now we see the new value of num1 variable. So we have covered quite a lot today. We took a look at the structure of the code in Delphi and how to declare variables. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into how to write conditionals in Object Pascal in Delphi. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on any new videos, and check out SiComponents website for more information and content.